hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to my birth chart blueprint. All right, let's see who is in the house today. Oh, we have a great show lined up for you guys. Hi, Gail Zamore. Okay, welcome to my YouTube community. I see that you are a new member, so welcome, welcome, welcome. And you know what? I don't think you know this, Gail, but you have my favorite number. 27 is my favorite number, and you have it twice. So welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, let's see who else is in the house. Hi, Sharon. How art thou? How are you? All right, you guys, let's just dive in. Today, we are going to be talking about aspects. Now, let me tell you right now, I have a lot of notes. Okay. I have a lot of notes. So I am telling you, buckle up. So when you see me looking down, I am referring to my notes because I do not want to miss anything on my paper. Okay. Because aspects, especially for me, it was one of the most challenging parts of astrology for me to understand. I didn't understand the aspects, and I was scared to death of the squares that were showing up in my birth chart. Now, we're going to talk about this a little later. And once again, I'm going to use my birth chart as an example so it can kind of get you in the realm of being able to look at your own birth chart to understand what you need to do and how you need to do it. Okay. But before we even get started, let me talk about a few things that you may not know, especially if you're joining me for the first time. Hello, hello, hello. If you're joining for the first time, go back and look at episode 1. All right. Also, go back and check out some of the other playlists that I have. All right. Checking out those other playlists. It's different subject areas, and I promise you, it is something that will definitely. I'm trying to not say the word bless anymore because that means be less. So when you see me pause, and I'm probably about to say that word, and I don't want to say it. Okay. So it will fulfill your life. Let me put it like that. It will fulfill your life in several different areas. Now, right now, do you see it's coming up now? That link bio / I am Dr. Sherry. Go there and click on my birth chart blueprint. It's going to open up a lot of information for you. One, you'll be able to see the transits that are occurring for the month. That's the first thing you'll be able to see. The next thing you will be able to see is going to be a link where you can get your own birth chart. Okay. Also, you'll be able to see our episode 1. And so once you click into that playlist, you'll be able to watch them all the way down. Okay. This is number 6 today, and you're going to be able to see something beneficial to you. One is called Healing Tones. That's perfectly it's free for you, okay? And it's something that is perfectly suitable for the today that we're in, okay? The community, um, the information that's going forth now through community, that information, I will say, is probably one of the most important pieces of information that will truly bless your life. Because when you talk about sounds and when you talk about healing, and to know that you could heal yourself through listening to different sounds, and you don't understand, you guys, but it was actually in the medical books many, many years ago, if not now, that they have to get tuning forks if you're going into the profession of any type of medical provider, as far as a doctor, a nurse, so on and so forth. They had to get healing forks. When you see all the bells that were broken, do you all know they used to ring a bell to for that sound to resonate throughout the community because it was a healing sound? Okay. Even now, especially over in Asia, they will click the sounding bowl to quiet the baby and put the baby to sleep. So, anyway, I have that for free over at my link bio. Hey Harrison, how are you? So when you go to my link bio, it will come up and that's there for you. Now, you all have been sending me messages, okay, constantly. I really didn't think that this was going to take off the way that it did, but it has. And you all have been sending me messages like crazy, asking me to assist you in giving you your birth chart with the meanings, okay? Because some of you you're clicking on a birth chart, but you're not understanding what everything means. And then some of you are wanting me to assist you in reading your charts for you. So you'll just have an overview and an understanding of what's going on in your life. And I have obliged. Okay. Yay. I know I have an applause thing, but I don't feel like going over there. So I do have that there for you. I'm going to, I have a team already together. Thank goodness. Okay. That if you want your birth chart, we can get your birth chart for you and give you the meaning surrounding it for you for an entire year. Okay. And also, we will provide you with consultations if you want that. So you can just follow the instructions over there. I'm so happy that we were able to supply you guys with that. All right. So that's the announcements as far as that's concerned. The next thing is it doesn't matter when you're watching this, especially for the next couple of years. All right. So if you're watching this on a replay and you are starting from episode 1, we've been talking about this time period that we're in right now. And so as we go forth and I continue to teach you and give you an understanding, I'm going to also give you an understanding of what's happening in this time period. All right. Now, some of you, you're watching this on replay and you're coming here just to hear the aspects, and that's fine. But right now, we're experiencing something that is very, very profound, very profound. I mean, when I tell you it's profound, you have no idea how profound it is. In fact, even in what's happening right now in our society, when you see what's things that's happening on the news and things that they're allowing you to see and things that you're seeing on social media, you already are seeing the impact of Neptune in Aries. Remember, I told you Neptune moved into Aries around January 26th of 2026. When Neptune moved into Aries, it came out of Pisces where things were a little cloudy, things we could not really see. Okay. Some things were happening on a spiritual nature. Hi, good afternoon. Hi, Deborah. How are you? So sometimes with Neptune and Pisces, things are cloudy. We can't really see what's going on. And I mentioned to you that when reality shows began during that time when Neptune was in Pisces. And we know now a lot of reality shows, they're scripted, okay? And you never know what you're really seeing, even though sometimes the aspects, their life aspects is really true what you're seeing, okay? But it was cloudy for us. Now Neptune is in Aries. The cloudiness is done. With Neptune being in Aries, the reality has sunk in. All right. Action is starting to take place. And you're probably seeing this in your own family as well. And I'm going to tell you how you're really going to see it, because this Friday, February 13th, yes, the day before Valentine's Day, isn't this so profound? All right. Saturn, which also has been in Pisces for the last 2 to 2.5 years, will make its transition into Aries. Saturn is the planet of discipline. Saturn is the planet of don't play with me. Saturn is the area that if you haven't done what you're supposed to do, Saturn is going to make you do it. Saturn represents the father. Okay. So when you think about the planet Saturn, Saturn is very strict. Okay. It's no nonsense. So you have that Saturn with that type of energy now entering Aries where Neptune is. It's going to tighten the reins in foolishness. All right. And it's happening the day before Valentine's Day, the pagan holiday, Valentine's Day. Don't be shocked. It's already happening, you guys, where you see people that are breaking up. Okay. It has already started happening. Just press your ear in Just press your ear into the news, to your social media, and watch all of the celebrity couples. Look at, they're already dropping like flies. I am really looking forward to change. Yes, and it's profound change. So this Friday, hone in, and then on February 20th, Neptune and Saturn will conjunct. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about aspects, and we're going to talk about what that conjunction means. Okay. Neptune and Saturn will conjunct at the 0 degree, which is profound. You all have no idea. So that's what we're going to kind of lean into today. All right. So the goal of today, this is not to overwhelm you. I want you to get out your pencils. I want you to get out your paper, because out of all of the episodes that I've done, this one today is the most serious. Okay. This one today, it's going to give you an understanding of what all of this really means. All right. So this week, you're going to stop asking like the questions, is this placement good or bad? There's nothing good or nothing bad in astrology, okay? Because what it is, we're setting a scene for you. And it's not about it being good or bad. So we have to get that out of our mouths, okay? We can't speak that, because there's nothing good or bad about the day that we were born, okay? So make sure you understand that. But I want you to start asking this question. How do these parts, how do these pieces of my birth chart, how do they interact? That's the question. How do they interact with one another? Because that's where you need to hone into. How do they interact? That's the huge maturity leap that we need to take. Because when you are hone into how they interact, that's exactly where you need to be. Now, give me a thumbs up if you're understanding that. And not only that, give a thumbs up to the live, even if you're watching this in a replay, because it helps push it out, you guys, a little further. So just take 2 seconds, okay? Give a thumbs up to the live, and give me a thumbs up if you're understanding so far what we're talking about. All right, so let's keep moving on. Keep pushing on. Okay. All right. So let me see where I am. So up until now, we've talked about what energy exists in the chart and where it shows up in your life. So by now, you should have pulled your birth chart, and you can kind of see where that energy is and where it's showing up in your life. But here's where astrology really starts to feel human. All right. This is where you're really going to start to understand. Hi, Antoinette, and thank you so much once again for your donation, for your I was about to say for your blessing, for your gratitude of thanks. Let me say like that. It warms my heart every time I see your name. And thank you so much. Thank you to all of you guys who continue to give to me. I thank you so much. Those blessings, even if it's just an amount to get a Starbucks coffee, I appreciate you and I thank you. All right, so you all are getting, okay, so let me keep going. So none of us are just one thing, and I'm sure you guys are understanding that now. Let me kind of gravitate to the conversation. We're not just one thing. We are a multiplicity of things that's going on in us on a daily basis. And what I'm trying to get you to understand is that once you know how you're moving, you know how to hone into that to make it expand in your life to be something positive. Okay. A lot of times people, they're just clueless, but I'm going to show you today in my own birth chart how, when you understand it, how you can expand it. Okay. All right. All right. So because none of us are just one thing, we're a conversation, sometimes a debate, sometimes a negotiation. Now, isn't that the truth? Okay. So when you are in a situation and you're going back and forth with somebody, you're debating, okay? You're negotiating, you're trying to get them to understand. that might be a space where you're aspecting and you don't understand it. Maybe you shouldn't be having that conversation with that person. Maybe you shouldn't be dialoguing about that specific subject, not that day, because you need to understand who you are and how you're moving. And I tell you guys all the time, sometimes you shouldn't even leave your house. Sometimes you need to just make it a chill day, because how you're transiting, how your birth chart is reacting is not a day to be social. And I have to get you guys to really understand that and believe that. Okay. So today we're talking about aspects. Today we're talking about aspects, and these are the relationship between planets and their inner dialogue they create. Yes, the planets, how they transit and how they make these aspects, it's how they dialogue, how they talk to one another. And that's what you need to kind of begin to understand. Aspects explain why you can be confident and insecure. Have you noticed that? Have you understood, or can you understand that sometimes you're in situations where you are confident, and sometimes you're placed in situations where you're very, 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 very insecure? Why is that? This is why we're giving you an understanding, okay? Because your aspects will begin to explain this to you, okay? Why are sometimes you're driven to do certain things, and then sometimes you're just mentally exhausted? You don't want to do anything. These are the questions that we're going to begin to answer for you. Okay. Also, how come sometimes maybe in relationships that you're very loving, right? But sometimes you feel very guarded. You don't want to be loving. Okay. This is today is going to begin to give you an understanding of why this is. Oh, thank you so much, Antoinette. Thank you so much. So we're going to dig deeper into these aspects and try to begin to understand what they are. Okay. So aspects describe how the different parts of you, how the different parts of you, how they talk to one another. And that's important to really hone in. How they talk to one another. So you have these aspects talking to one another, and you don't even understand the conversation. That's the key. You got to begin to understand the conversation that is happening as above, so you can bring it down what? Below. So let's explain this very, very plainly. Aspects are angles. Okay, say it again. Aspects are angles that are occurring in your birth chart. That's all they are. Do you remember when you were in high school and you learned geometry and you learned about the different angles? This is what we're talking about. So, where the planets are positioned, they are creating angles in your birth chart. So, that's what aspects are. Okay. They show interaction. Again, they show how these planets are talking to one another when they make these movements. So when Neptune is already in Aries, so when Saturn moves into Aries and then it moves conjunct with Neptune, that is going to be speaking in your chart. And it's going to be there for several years. You need to have an understanding of what the heck is going on in your chart, where you need to be positioned. And that's why we opened up these consultations for you guys. And that's why we opened up your birth chart with explanations, because you need to have an understanding on how you need to be moving these next couple of years. And Neptune will be in Aries for 14 to 15 years. So this is a very, very important part of your life. And what you need to understand is that none of these planets, none of them work alone, you guys. They don't work alone. Okay. All of these planets are moving. And so if you really believe as above, so below, then you need to begin to understand the above. Give me a thumbs up if you believe that. Right? Give a thumbs up if you're in your spirit. It is settling in your spirit that you now need to have the education of the above, so you can begin to bring it down, so you can walk in your authority, so you can work in your authority, so you can truly understand who you are to maximize your life. How many of you all want to live live a life where you have maxed everything you could. There's this saying about cemeteries, and they say the cemeteries is filled with unanswered dreams. Unanswered dreams. Isn't that sad? Unanswered dream. These people had all of these dreams. They had a dream to write a book. They had a dream to travel. They had a dream to possibly have children, even though they can adopt children. They had a dream to open up certain businesses. They had a dream to lead people. They had a dream to pour into societies. They had a dream to do all of these marvelous things, and they died with their dreams. Because again, you need to have an understanding of what's going on in your own life so you can maximize the time while you have it here. So let's just talk about these planets again. The planets are people in a room. So listen to me very carefully, because this analogy that I wrote in here is really going to help you understand. The planets are people in a room. So I want everybody to envision a room right now, and then people in this room, right? So this is what the aspects tell us if we envision it like it being people in the room. And I know you can feel this when you walk into a room of people that you don't know, right? Sometimes you can figure out, well, who's getting along, right? Who's getting along very easily. Right? Who are the people that's in this room that's talking to one another and laughing with one another? You can kind of see that when you're in this room, right? You can also begin to see who may be challenging, have challenges with each other. For example, somebody might crack a joke and somebody might make their face look like, no, they didn't. You see what I'm saying? You're able to see the challenges in the people's personality, right? And then you're also able to see those who possibly need a push to have growth in those relationships. They need just a little push. That somebody might think that they might not like someone, okay? But there's a resource that this person might have that this person needs. And so they do need to gravitate to one another. This is what aspects do in the heavens, okay? Sometimes it gives us that little push in life where there may be friction, and we need to kind of push through that friction. It also gives us that alignment of things that work out very easily for us. Okay. And it is there to help to have that easiness in this different space of our life that we're experiencing. Okay. And then it also shows us where there may be some challenges going on, which are not bad. Remember, I told you there is nothing bad, because where there are challenges, that opens us up to what? Growth. Okay. That opens us up to growth, which is a beautiful thing. So now let's look at, I'm going to put this up, but I also have it. I might just need to share it because I know that's a little small. So give me a second. I'm going to try to share this, and let me come back through and share it because I know that's small. Give me a second. Let me just share my screen. Let me share the screen. Okay. There you go. That should be better. Now let me see. Is that better, you guys? Give a thumbs up if that's better in the chart. Is that better? Or it's about the same, isn't it? Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me just expand it as I'm talking about it. How about that? There you go. All right, so you should be able to see that now. So let's deal with the conjunction. And I'm going to read all of these, but I'm going to go in depth about each one of them. But let's just talk about what a conjunction is. A conjunction is an intimate relationship between two planets where they act as one. It's a fusion of two planets. Are we understanding that? It's a fusion of two planets. It's still a little small. Okay, let me try to open it up some more. Give me a second. We're going to make it so you guys can see it. Okay, give me a second. How about that? Is that good? Let me come back to you guys. Is that better? Let me wait. Somebody give me a thumbs up or let me know if the size is okay. Good. Okay. All right. Good. 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 All right. So let me keep because I'm not in the screen. I can see you guys. So you're gonna have to kind of message to me. Okay, I'm going back over here. So now we're talking about a conjunction once again. So a conjunction, it's two planets that are sitting together. So remember, I told you Neptune and Saturn will be at the 0 degree on February 20th. They will be in a conjunction, which is two energies that are blending together, right? It's an intimate relationship between two planets where they act as one. It's a fusion of those energies. You got to really understand what I'm saying here, right? It's intensified. Okay? They're hard to separate. Okay? It's going to feel really 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 strong when you have conjunctions in your chart. All right? So conjunctions, they don't argue. They don't argue with each other. They blend together. Okay? They blend their energies together. So they work together. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Neptune, which is powerful, Saturn, which is powerful, blending together, not arguing, blending in agreement together. Okay, this is what makes this so powerful. Now let's look at opposition. So give me a second. Let me go down and find the oppositions. Okay, let me make it a little bigger, just a little bigger. Well, that might be too big. How about that? Right there. Okay, oppositions. Okay, let me come back to you guys, make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. Okay, so that should be a little better for you. All right, let me come back. Give me a second so I can read it. All right, so an opposition is direct mutual respect. Okay? It's emotional tension between the indications of the planets involved. Challenges that we are consciously aware of. So we talk about an opposition. These are challenges that what we are consciously aware. We know this part is a little hard for us. Okay. This is where we are aware. And again, you guys, I got to keep reiterating this. It's not bad. Nothing is bad. Okay. It can't be bad when you are aware. All right. So this is where you have this push pull energy that's occurring. Okay. When you're trying to do something, you're trying to push and it's pulling back in you, and it's like you're trying to break through something. You're trying to break through a wall so something will happen. Okay. This is when you're trying to balance something in your life and it's not happening instantaneously for you, and you're needing to work on it over and over and over again. Let me give you an example. There could be a time in your life or in a relationship where you're being really stubborn. You're being really stubborn about something, and inside you know you should not be behaving this way. You could be fighting an opposition, which is in your chart. It will be at 180 degrees. Remember, we're telling you all of these aspects are nothing but angles in your chart. And I'm gonna give you an example of this for a minute. So opposition, they teach us awareness through things that are different, okay, in our lives. It's a contrast. It's a difference. It's the yin and the yang that we're trying to work through in our life. Okay, so in your birth chart, you could have oppositions that you need to be aware of. You could have oppositions that you need to know this is a part of my life that is going to show some emotional tension. Okay, I have some tension here that I need to be aware of. So when it shows up in my life, I need to know how to work through it. Okay, all right, so let's go on to the next one, which is Miss Deborah, is this good? Is this size better for you? I hope that it is, and I hope that you're still with us. All right, where is my little mouse? Give me a second, you guys. Okay, here it's way over here. All right. Aww. All right, Harrison. I'm trying. I'm trying to get you guys to get this. I am trying to get you to get this. Okay, let's move to the square. Where is that? I think that was there. It is. All right, you guys. This square. Sheesh. The square. There you go. Okay. The square. Now, it is, but it's blurry. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I can't deal with the blurriness. Okay, but I'm listening. Okay, okay, all right. So these are challenges, these are blockages, and these are psychological tensions, you guys. These are planets that are in squares, they are in the same modality, okay, where they're showing a difficulty interacting with each other. Now, again, once again, and I'm going to say this over and over again, it's not anything bad. Nothing is good or bad because we're talking about your life. All right. It's nothing good or bad about that. It is what it is. What we're trying to do is show you how to deal with it and on in your daily lives, right? On your journey. How do you deal with these aspects when they show up in your life and when they are in your birth chart? You were born with squares possibly in your chart. So these are going to be challenges in your life that you need to learn how to deal with. You have to learn how to deal with, okay? So when the squares show up, yes, it's friction. Let's just put it right out there. It is tension, okay, that builds through strength, okay? You have to have strength to get through these squares when they're in your life. It's pressure that shows up in your life. And it's also motivation. It will motivate your life, okay? So you need to understand that it will become a motivation for you. All right? So no one with squares will get to sleepwalk through life. It's just not happening, okay? But it's not punishment. This is where you are going to be positioned to grow. Okay? This is where you're going to be conditioned to grow. All right, now let's talk about the trine. Yay! Let's talk about the trine. So with the trine, okay. All right. The trine is okay, good. Miss Deborah was able to fix the blurriness. Good. Okay. So with the trine, it's a supportive angle where both planets mutually enhance each other. Planets and trines occupy the same element but in different modalities. So they have complementary differences. So remember, we already talked about modalities. We already talked about elements. So go back and look at my previous episodes going over that. So if you have a trine in your birth chart, this is where things feel natural for you. Okay. Trines are at 120-degree angles, but it feels natural. It's familiar energy. Okay. It's ease. It's probably where your talents are in your life. This can be underused. Remember, I told you I have a trine dealing with me being able to deal with children and me teaching and being one that is a forever student. So and I leaned into that. So it's ease for me to teach. Okay. It's ease for me. And sometimes somebody might have a trine in their chart and they don't even notice it. It's a lot of times if you don't understand your strengths, you don't understand the trines and you're not leaning into it, that's a part of your life. Remember, I gave you the saying about the cemetery. People die with their dreams. They literally die with their dreams because they don't lean into it. Okay. Finally call it live, my schedule. I said, okay, I'm glad. Afro Lock, yay. All right, so let me come out of this and let me show you guys this one. So this is what it looks like. You got the conjunction. That's the symbol for the conjunction. So if you're in your birth chart, these are the different symbols. Conjunctions are at 0 degrees. Now you see at the top where it says name, symbol, separating. Let's talk about the separating in a minute. But let's talk about the separating now, because in a minute I'm going to show you my birth chart. I'm going to really give you a hands-on understanding on how to look at this in your chart. In your birth chart, it's at the bottom. It is called a oh Lord, aspectarian. Aspectarian. I'm going to show you the aspectarian in my birth chart. But in the aspectarian, it will have an A or an S. All right. So either a planet is coming together. So, for example, Saturn will be coming into Aries. So it is applying, which means that it is going towards Neptune. Now, let's just say, for instance, because remember, Saturn only stays in a sign for 2 to 2.5 years. Neptune will be in Aries for 14 to 15 years. So when Saturn is moving faster, of course, moving faster than Neptune, it's going to come a point where it's going to pass Neptune, right? It's going to pass it. So then when it passes it, it goes into separating. Got it? So as it's going towards, that energy is building, it's building, it's building, it's building. On February 13th, Neptune and Saturn will conjunct. They'll be right there together at 0 degrees. And then soon Saturn will move past Neptune. It will move past and will move into separating. Okay, give a thumbs up if everybody understands that, because that is huge when you begin to understand where it is. Is it applying, which means it's moving towards? It conjuncts at the same degree, then it moves past it, which means it's separated. So that means those energies are starting to lighten. Give a thumbs up if you guys get that. I want to make sure you get that because that's very important. Okay. Oh, good. Y'all are learning. I'm so happy. I'm sorry. Are y'all sharing? You need to share these lives, okay? You need to make sure people in your family are seeing this, because then they'll begin to understand why sometimes people are acting like you know what, and they don't have an understanding why they acting like you know what. Okay. All right. So that is the that let's move to the next one. Okay, I'm glad you guys are getting it. Yay, I'm glad you guys are getting it. All right, so let's move to the next one, which is a sextile. That's a symbol for sextile. Sextile is a 60-degree angle. Then you have the square, which is a 90-degree angle. You have the trine, which is a 120-degree angle. And then you have the opposition, which is the 180-degree angle. Okay. And so these are the major aspects. There are minor aspects as well. And today we'll go through one minor aspect that's actually in my chart that I'm going to show you. And remember, I told you I wanted to show you stuff in real time. And I actually did it for what's going to happen this Friday. So this Friday, you guys are going to see what's going on in my chart. And for those who came in a little late, don't forget, if you go to my link bio, and it's coming up down there, link bio / I am Dr. Sherry, and click on my birth chart blueprint. We got a lot of goodies there. One, we will start doing your birth charts for you and give you an understanding of what's going on. So for those that don't know how to do this, and you're just now learning, you've never learned anything about this before, but you really want to learn about yourself, I did bring together a team where we can start doing those for you. Okay. Now, if you want a consultation, if you want me to talk with you and bring your chart up, and this will be a video, this will be via Zoom. If you want me to bring your chart up and start explaining stuff that's going on in your chart, to do a live consultation with you, I have that available for you as well. Okay, because you guys, y'all were asking, y'all were like, well, can you explain? Can you do this? So we got it together so we could do it for you. Yay, yay, yay. Okay. All right. So we went through all of those. So now let's talk about the harmony and the tension. Okay. What works together? Where may there be some tension that is in my chart? Okay. Let help. This is to help you understand that. I'm so happy you would do my birthday. I need it. Yeah, I know we felt you guys' pain. I really didn't believe, well, not that I didn't believe, I didn't think it would take off like this, because I wasn't even thinking on doing this. But where there's a need, we try to fill in. So anyway, let's talk about ease does not mean sometimes things are better. Okay, let's talk about that. In your chart, just because something is easy doesn't mean that it's better. And I want to make sure that you all understand this. For example, you may be someone that has as I said, the gift of gab. It's easy for you to talk to people. It's easy for you to get people on your side. But if you're not using it right, it could be very harmful, right? Because that ease of you getting people to believe you could be used in a very manipulative way. Okay. And so some of us, we know people that know how to manipulate their gift. All right. And so this is where a birth chart comes in handy. And this is why, even if you're in relationship, you need to know the person's birth chart. You need to have an understanding of who they are. You need to have an understanding of what sets them off, what might be a trigger for them when they are more at ease, right? Where the squares are showing up in their chart. I promise you, if we understood, it's called synastry. If you had synastry, if you got a synastry chart with someone you're in relationship, even someone you're married to, doesn't even matter. It could be a mother-daughter relationship, a father-son relationship. It could be a best friend relationship. It doesn't matter. Any relationship that where you're seeing challenges, you might need understanding, right? So we need to understand that these different aspects, okay, have meaning. So, for example, no one with squares, they get to sleepwalk through life. They're not going to sleepwalk through life if they have squares in their chart. It's not going to happen. Okay. And it doesn't mean that it's punishment. It's not that it's punishment if you have squares in your chart. Where it is where your attention should be focused. Are y'all understanding that? It's where your attention should be focused. It's where your attention should be focused to bring that right energy in so you can balance everything out, right? So the same thing with, again, if you have trines in your chart, of course, these are ease. This is a place where ease is in your chart. This is where your talents are, possibly. This is energy that's easy for you. Okay, these are areas that feel natural for you. It can be misunderused, of course, but it's often, again, it's never it's often unnoticed in your chart. So sometimes you're in a field in your life that you shouldn't even be in, right? You should be capitalizing off of the part in your chart that is natural for you, that feels easy for you, right? That's easy for, it could be a place that's very lucrative for you to make money. Okay, I want you guys to really begin to understand this because it's huge. It's very, very huge. All right. So trines are gifts, okay? But they still need intention. And so what I'm trying to tell you is learn how to work in your gift. And sometimes, what's that saying? Your gift will make room for you. It will. And it could be lucrative if you're using it appropriately. Sextiles, which I just showed you, those are opportunities. In fact, let me put these back up so you can kind of see. So sextiles, these are opportunities, right? These are supportive, but they require effort. Okay, these are the areas in your chart where choices need to be made. Okay, these are the parts in your chart where doors will open. These are the part, again, that needs choice. You need to make the choice. These are the areas in your chart where it will show where you have potential. Okay, so sextiles, they don't force you to grow. Okay, they invite it. They saying, here, you can choose this, this, or this. So that's what sextiles are. All right. So again, when we talk about harmony, when we talk about tension, harmony comforts, tension should be where there's development. Both are necessary. So astrology, it does not judge, it describes. All right. So now let me come off of this and let me go to my chart. Give me a second. Okay, because now I'm going to teach you. Use an example. Okay. Where's my, oh, I gotta stop sharing the screen. I always forget not to do that anymore. Okay, now let me try it again. Share screen. Share screen. Window. Okay. Okay, do you guys see that? Are you good? I'm gonna move it down. I just want to make sure you see it. Okay, let me go back to make sure you guys can see it. Are y'all good? Give a thumbs up in the chat if you can see that. I just want to make sure you can see it. Somebody, anybody, everybody, yay! Okay. All right, so now let's look at my chart, okay? All right, let me go back over here so you guys can see. Okay, so we're going to talk about a square that's in my chart. And as you can see, this is going to be my chart on this Friday, February 13th. So the transits are in red. Inside my birth chart is where you see the black different symbols. That was my chart when I was born. Okay. And then the green kind of tells me where all the planets are like right now in my chart, the progressions right now. But the red, let me take that back up so you guys can see it. The red, that's Neptune and that's Saturn. That's where they're going to be on Friday. So you see Saturn and Neptune will be right there at the 0 degrees. Let me make that bigger so you guys can see it. Can you see that? It will be right there at the 0 degree this Friday. That's the red, okay? The green is where the planets are right now in my chart, because all of the planets, they don't stay the same, you guys. They continue to move in your life. So, for example, some of you, you're not, for example, like for me, I'm a Taurus. Well, I'm not always going to be a Taurus. There's going to be let me rephrase that. I'm going to always be a Taurus because I was a Taurus when I was born. I'm a Taurus sun, I'm a Gemini rising, and I'm a Pisces moon. But what I'm trying to tell you is if you'll look where the sun is now, and let me move this down so you guys can see. Let me see. Can I make it bigger and move it up? Because I need you guys to see this. Let me move it down. Give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. So, oh, Lord. Give me a second. There we go. Okay. Hold on. Let me come back to you guys. Make sure it's right on the screen. Yes, it's right. Okay. Now, you see where the sun is? Look at the green. Look at the symbol for the sun, which is the circle with the little circle in the middle. Okay, so you see where the AC is? Come on down. You'll see the sun, which is the circle and the little circle in the middle. That's the sun. Well, right now, my sun is in Cancer. And everything right now, it's in Cancer, and it's in the first house. So everything is about me and my home, my children, my family. And you guys, no joke, my focus right now is my home. I am right now, I'm looking at different homes. I just had to decide where I want to live. Okay. Where I want to live, where I want to plant myself. It took me forever to figure it out, but I have figured it out. All right. And I'm in the process now of moving in that direction to solidify where my home is going to be. There's been a big focus on my children right now because Cancer represents family. It represents children. It represents home. It represents mother. It's emotion. Cancers are really emotional. So I have been really emotional. Okay. But also there's been a big focus on me. I've been working out and making sure I got my skin routine and my hair routine and everything that I'm needing. There's a big push right now. So I'm trying to tell you guys that as you go through life, you will take on different characteristics and your life will show that. All right, we have a question coming up. Let's see. How do you find out where your chart has progressed? We could do that for you, but you can just go to a progress chart. So if you go to last week's episode, I actually showed you all how to find your chart, and you can actually select progressed chart. Okay, does that answer your question? I think it's Zaria. Or is that Zarik? Is that Zarik? Zaria Quinn. I think that's right. I hope I said it right. I'm a stickler for getting people's names right. I hope I said it right. But yeah, you can look at last week's episode and I'll show you guys how to find it and just select progressed chart. Okay. All right. So here's my chart. Now, let me show you guys where there's a square in my chart. Okay, so let me show you guys. Okay, so when you're looking at my chart, this planet wants this. This is what the squares are chanting. This planet wants that. Okay, this person learns about integrating both. So in my life, I had to figure out what this planet was requiring from me, what that planet was requiring from me, and understanding that nothing is flawed. It's not that something is flawed. It's just that it plays out in being a life lessons that I don't want to repeat. All right. So let's look at Jupiter in my 11th, in my third house. So do y'all see Jupiter right there? Jupiter is in Leo in my third house. That's the sign for Jupiter. It looks like a 4. And so let me go back to you guys to make sure you can see it. Let me make sure. Yes. So you see the Jupiter? Okay. It looks like the 4. So look at the black 4. Okay. In my third house. That's where it was when I was born. So my Jupiter is in Leo. Okay. When I was born. But as you can see, there's a square that's happening from that. So you see it in red? I got a square going on. Okay. And so I need to understand how to deal with that square, okay, in my own life and how that relates to what's happening with Neptune being in Aries and Saturn moving into Aries this Friday. How does all that play out? So now let's just first talk about Jupiter being in my third house. Jupiter expands. All right. So Jupiter is a planet that expands for you. So in it being in my third house, means my communication, my writing, my speaking, my learning, right? My documentation, my testimonies, my local systems, my paperwork, my emails, all of my records, anything that deals with that type of communication is going to be off the chain. All right. And so now Jupiter being in Leo, this adds to having courage to speak because when Leos are in the room, everything, listen, Leos show up. Leos are sun. They're represented by the sun. They're represented by lions, right? Being the king of the jungle. That's a Leo. So Leos have courage. Okay, they will speak when others might stay silent. And if y'all know me, that's my personality. If I feel something or if I feel a way about something, I speak on it. Okay? Leo's also, with Jupiter being in Leo, this represents authority, moral authority. Okay? So I'll have moral authority in my voice, right? I will have a need to be heard. Okay. Not just correct, but to be heard. Even I might not be correct, but I have a need to be heard. And that has shown up a lot in my relationships because I'm not going to say that I'm right, but I need for you all to what? To hear me. Don't silence me. Don't make me go silent. Don't make me quiet. This is very important. And then there's also leadership through words. All right. So Leos, they show leadership through words. All right. So this is not the signature of someone whose voice matters publicly. This is the signature of someone whose voice matters publicly because, again, being in that third house, this is not someone who's quiet. This is someone who's private about how they feel and how they express that. For those that know, that's me. Okay. So now you layer this on with a square to Neptune. This is going to be real tension that's going to happen in my life, you guys. And I'm getting prepared for that now. I am literally squaring Neptune. Okay. So my Jupiter, which is voice, which is truth, which is belief, it's going to square Neptune, which is illusions, which is fog, which is deception, which is erasure. This is what Neptune, this is what it's going to mean in your own life. So my Neptune is in Scorpio. So do you see that over on my birth chart? Go over to Scorpio. Scorpio is the M with the little tail that is pointed like an arrow. Okay. My Neptune is in the 6th house, but it's in Scorpio. All right. Which is conjuncting my ascendant. So all of that is I don't want to go too deep, but I just want to just show you how it's going to play out. How it plays out is that I have to speak the truth in situations that's coming up. I can't play any games with this. I have to speak truth. And if I don't speak truth, it could get distorted. Okay. I have to document my facts. So that means I can't just speak my facts. If somebody is saying something is this way, something is that way, where I'm moving into, I have to document it, okay? And I have to expect the words to mean something that I speak out of my mouth, all right? So this is where aspects become brutal in early life, okay? Because if you don't understand how all of this works, if you don't understand how all of this transits one another, how it shows up in your own life, you alone could be confused. So knowing that I was born with a square on Neptune, I have to be careful about that. I have to be careful, and I have to be watchful, and I have to be mindful on how these transits affect my life. Now, this is the thing. I remember a time when I was younger, and I've already told you, speaking the truth and saying the truth matters a lot. And sometimes saying the truth is not enough, because it was a time in my life where I remembered this so vividly when I was studying my chart, and I remember how broken I was when this happened. So let me explain to you. When I was a child, I have some cousins that are younger than myself, and all of them are boys except the last one. So we got like a strand of, I think it's five boys. Is it five? Yeah, I think it's 5 boys. A string of boys, right? After me. And so my cousins are much younger, and my youngest brother, of course, was in the mix too. And so I was at my grandmother's house, and one of my boy cousins had went out of town, but he lived with my grandmother, so his bike was outside. And so my other cousins and my brother, they were just riding his bike, and the chain came off his bike. And so I decided to try to put the chain back on his bike to fix it. Well, right when I was putting the chain and trying to fix it for them on his bike, my aunt came up, and my cousin, all of them, they had, wherever they were, they came back. But all of them walked up on me fixing the chain on the bike that my other younger cousin had broken. So when they got in the house, my aunt began to fuss at me and scream at me for breaking the bike. I was so angry. I was so mad because I had spoken truth, but I was silenced. And I was subjected to adult leadership. Remember now, that's in my chart too, authority, right? Jupiter and Leo, authority. But I was so angry. I had told the truth. I spoke the truth, and I was told that I was lying, that I had broken. So now my expression of the truth has now at that point had now turned into disrespect, because my blood was boiling. And remember now, I'm a child speaking to an adult. So everything it was expanding. It was expanding at a severe level. I'm saying all that to say this: when you understand who you are, I would have at that time probably reiterated that I was speaking the truth, and this is what really had happened. But instead, it turned into this, okay, and it was ugly. And I began to stare my aunt down terribly. Okay. It turned really ugly. Why am I saying this? it's important to understand your chart. It's important to understand your children's charts. It's important to I didn't know one of my daughters was born in 3 retrogrades. We'll talk about that later. But that's huge. That's huge to be born during a retrograde. And she was born during 3 of them. Okay? And I'm just now learning this, and she's in her 30s now. So all of this is so important, you guys. What we're going through is so important. So when we look at our charts, when we look at where these can you all hear me? Okay, I saw I had went away for a minute. Okay, we're good. Okay. All right. So listen, I think this is where I'm going to end today because it was a lot. Let me share my screen because my internet is behaving a little crazy now. Let me share my screen and I'm going to show you this last little part and then we are done for today. Oh, I'm right at an hour too. All right, give me a second. All right, here we go. Okay, let me show you this last little part. I'm down here and I'm going to show you the aspectarian. This is what this is called. It's called an aspectarian. It also may be called an aspect table. Is it showing? No, let me see. Let me go back. Is it showing, you guys? Give a thumbs up. Oh. Okay. Are you all there? I don't know if I'm here or not. Do you all see me? Let me wait until StreamYard is doing something crazy. Give me a thumbs up if you see me or if you can hear me. Okay. Are we there? Okay, let me make sure everything has stabilized. It's moving a little slow. Okay, everybody say I'm good now. Okay, all right. So at the bottom there, okay, all right. So at the bottom, let me move it down a little bit. At the bottom here is what we call an aspectarian. Might also be called a aspect grid, aspect table. Okay, but it's an aspectarian. Okay, let me move it up just a little bit. Okay, I think that's good. All right, let me go back to you guys. All right, there we go. All right. So this is called an aspectarian. So in astrology, I'm going to show you something because remember I told you there are other type of semi-squares and semi-sextiles, so on and so forth. So if you'll look and you see where it says the red transit, okay, I want you to come over to where that kind of table is that's going like that. And I want you to look at the first one because I have a semi-square that's happening in that first one. So you see the sun. Remember, the sun is the circle with the little dot in it. And then you come down one, and then there's the moon. Okay. So I want you to look at the moon, and I want you to move over right up underneath the sun. So it's going to be the part that looks like that. You're going to see a 0 degree, and then you're going to see an A. So remember, we talked about applying and we talked about separating. So you're going to see that I'm going to have an actual semi-square, okay? And it's going to be happening with the moon and the sun right at 0 degrees. So my sun and my moon are going to be on the same spot, the moon moving towards my sun at 0 degrees, but it's going to be bringing forth a semi-square, okay? And this is happening on February 13th. Now, is this it? Remember, nothing's bad. Okay, that's not what this means. Only thing this means is that this is an aspect where it might signify some strain, some friction, or some conflict that necessitates me doing some type of form of action towards it. Okay. And and again, it doesn't mean anything bad. It means something I need to hone into, that where there may be some friction, where there may be something, this is a critical point. We know 0 degrees is a critical point, and it's happening on Friday. This is going to help me give me some insight on how I need to handle a certain area. And again, nothing bad, but I'm ready for it, whatever it is. I know that if there's something that's coming in that's a little tense for me, that's showing a little friction, it's going to help me now navigate. It might be a situation where I need to be quiet, right? It might be a situation where I might need to work through something. Okay? It's already preparing me for the things that I need to do when my moon moves in front of my sun, and it conjuncts right there at that 0 degrees, and it happens on Friday. All right, so let me just stop this. So again, we can continue to kind of layer and layer and layer and layer this, but I think today you guys have a thorough understanding of what this might look like in your chart. And when you begin to put it all together, what that means for you. All right, because I gave you example of what happened to me as a child having that square with Neptune, right? So it doesn't work well with me if I'm in relationships where someone tries to silence me and they don't listen to me. That doesn't work well with me. I have to be in a situation that even if somebody thinks I'm wrong about something, listen to me. Just listen to me and help me work through this understanding that I might be having that might be wrong, or I could be right. Do you see what I'm saying? All right, you guys, I love you so much. Give me a thumbs up if you learned a lot today. Okay? Don't forget, we can do your birth chart for you now and give you meaning behind it. And I can have those one-on-one consultations with you. All right. I love you guys so much. All right. Yay. Okay. You are so welcome. You're so welcome, Harrison. All right, you guys. Thank you for those that are new. Don't forget to go back and check out our other episodes, right? Start at 1 and continue to build. All right. And I will see you next week. Until next time. Bye.